fucking thing don't want to turn on. Son of a bitch. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this ripe early age of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, here to talk about the budget-friendly K-Swap kit. The kit that I would like to make a thing. Well, the main reason why I'd like to make it a thing is because if you guys start buying this shit from me, it would give me a very good excuse to have all this stuff like in stock. But then we got the hurdle of getting everything in stock so that way I can present it to be sold. Now, I've already ordered a few of these parts, a very few. I think, what did I order? I've ordered the mounts, the conversion harness, and the clutch line. So the only thing in this... Okay, so I guess we can itemize it real quick. Obviously, I know that everything recently I've been smacked with the whole what parts you're using, and I know that I said that I'm coming through with the parts I'm using in detail for the engine blocks, because that's a super important thing. This is not just something you can throw on and then charge whatever for, because quality matters in the engine block. Now, I'm not saying quality doesn't matter here, but quality is not as essential. Like, if you guys saw my Instagram, you saw my Facebook, you saw a picture of a K-Swap, and that's in an EK chassis. Yeah, I think it's like a 98 or 99 EK coupe from a friend named Rick. Now, that motherfucker looks clean as shit, right? Yeah, those are all fucking generic products that he used to put that in that thing. He used the cheap mounts, the ones I'm offering, and also the fuel rail looks to be the same like I'm using, and same the clutch line. It's also a generic line. Now, I'm saying that these are all, aren't as important here for these being generic, is because it really is just stuff that holds things in place, right? The fuel lines and everything, they're all still braided or whatnot. You got your fuel pressure regulator that mounts to the firewall. So anyway, yeah. To itemize the kit a little bit, like, I'm not going to go through and tell you guys exactly what parts I'm picking to use to make this kit together, because I've already ranted and raved about it on multiple occasions. I did it for over a year in different videos, talk about how K-Swap's not expensive anymore, and then I did that rant like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe not that far back, probably like 2 months ago, where I was, giving a list of prices for these parts. Now, I've said you just got to go and look. So, you got to go and look if you want to see the parts I'm using. Like, as a matter of fact, somebody this morning... Oh fuck, dude! I was gonna give you a proper shout out, but I don't have a messages open in front of me to have your name. But he asked what the parts were, and then I explained, yeah, these are generic parts. These are all parts that are the cheap side, that people who don't give a fuck about the brand name, right? If you don't care about your brand names and you just want to get the K-Swap in your car for the cheapest dollar amount, this is effective, because these are effective. A lot of people are using this shit. People just don't go around shouting to the world. Then this is the way to go. My focus when I was putting this kit together is to keep it under $1,000. So when the dude was saying, he goes, man, I looked at the prices, and he goes, and I don't understand how you're going to make a profit here. And it's true. It's very, very little profit. Like, if you go to buy this thing off me part by part, I'm not making like any money at all. I broke it down. I did add a little bit of markup, but not much. It's very, very little. And yeah, so there's that. I think total out of this whole thing, out of this kit to where it is, I think there's maybe $140 difference, and part of that is going to be for the shipping, right? So if you were to come to me and you were to buy this whole fucking kit, I stand to make $100. Yeah, I guess that still could be argued that that's still pretty good, considering the fact that I'm just using my fingers to get all this thing together. But it did take me a little bit of time last night to organize this list. It took me a little bit more time than I thought it would, because I would sit there and my idea was everything that goes in the engine bay to get this thing set and ready to go, that you can regularly buy at a solid set price. That was my focus. So the engine harness itself is left out, because the engine harness itself, there's no company that just makes... Well, I guess I could argue Rywire, but then that would go against the cost effectiveness of this swap, the budget version of this swap, right? So maybe Rywire would be a steady supplier for that. So I would have to locally source one on Facebook, I guess, and then add it to the kit to send. But that would have to be like case by case, like deal. Like, you have to order that separate. But anyway, the bottom dollar amount for this kit that you can get for me is $825, and that's the shipped price, right? $825. So I was able to keep it under $1,000, and that was the main goal, right? So the kit includes the engine mounts, the conversion harness, the fuel rail kit, and the AC and power steering delete, and the clutch line. All right. So this is everything that's essential for you to have this fucking swap mounted in your car. I kind of shuffled the idea of the AC power steering delete. I was like, is it really? It's not really essential for it to be in your car. But the way I thought about it was like this: like, if you're not gonna have AC and power steering in your swap, then you need to get rid of that shit. And because of the way the K swap is, it's very jammed up against the firewall. For you to go in there and add that shit later would be a pain in the ass. So the whole idea was for me to be able to have that on the engine before you put it in. And so yeah, that's the reason why I added that in. Also, the most expensive part to this individually is the fuel rail kit, which comes with the fuel rail, the lines to and from, the one from the filter, one back to the return, and the fuel pressure regulator. Now you can break that down into pieces, but I went ahead and I looked around until I found a kit that I liked, and that's the one I'm going to go with. So that right there is the most expensive part, and I think it's around $300 some. So yeah, so I'm willing to, like I said, willing to sell everything separately. I'm not even gonna put separate prices out right now. I guess if you message me cash in hand, I want to buy something, then I will give you a fucking price. But if you're just passing through saying, hey, what's your price? I'm not gonna tell you. You can go search for it on eBay and look for it yourself. Jesus Christ, man, my fucking phone's cut me off twice. For fucking people sending me messages and fucking my alarm going off. Christ Almighty. Anyway, if you want to buy individual prices, you can go and look for this shit yourself. This is supposed to be just like an easy kit, like for people who are not wanting to search for every single little thing. They want to make sure they're not forgetting anything. They want to go to one spot and get everything. That's the idea. Also, is a way to show you that that the K swap's not super expensive to get in your car. Like it's less than $1,000. Now remember, there's a markup for this because this is, I gotta make some money if I'm doing this for you, or if we're doing this for anybody, right? I'm still gonna buy this shit regardless for myself, and I want to, like I said in the beginning of the video, I want to start keeping this shit stacked, so like I don't have to worry about doing this every time I want to do a swap, piecing one together. I can already have it like on a shelf somewhere. This is also the reason why I like to have multiple engine blocks. It's that way I don't have to go out and look for it. It's already right there. So yes, you don't need me necessarily to go through and find this for you, but now that you can see a total on prices, it gives you an understanding that, hey, I can do this. I can get this K-Series in my car for under $1,000. The only thing I left out of here is the engine harness itself, the axles, and engine harness, axles, ECU, and the shifter box. These are 4 things. And again, these are things that I could potentially go back and add, but it's as time. Now, as far as the shifter box and cables, generally speaking, they're like $50. The axles, I'm not 100% sure on a regular price because I don't see them pop up too often. I don't really pay attention. I don't know how much axle would be from an auto parts store, but there's that. I would imagine it would be a fortune. So there's that. The engine harness typically goes from like 150 to 200. I would ask, try to get it down lower. And then what was that? So yeah. And then, of course, the ECU. Now, if you're just doing a stock K and you really just want the K-Series in your car and running as it is without tuning, then you can get a stock ECU relatively cheap, and I think you can get an immobilizer, or I think you can get the ECU opened by a dealership or whatnot. And I think that's also not very much money. So, and that was something that somebody pointed out to me before when I was talking about how the ECU is expensive and you would just need K-Pro to unlock it. You don't need K-Pro to unlock it. You can get it unlocked without K-Pro, and you can save yourself hundreds of dollars on the K-Swap. Now, of course, everybody wants to tune if you're going to do this, I would imagine. So you need K-Pro or something to tune with. So that does get expensive. But I think I was also looking at swap prices, right, last night. Like, because I would like to keep more than just the fucking K-Series mounts. I would also like to keep D and B as well. So if going off the price of things in my head, like, right, if you go to Facebook Marketplace here in South Florida, you can get a fucking entire single cam swap for $500 or less. I've bought entire single cam swaps for $450. Even in El Paso, I bought one for that price. I've seen swaps go for as low as $200 fucking dollars, believe it or not. So let's just say that $500 is the base cost for a full single cam swap, right? Now I noticed that when you go up to the price of the B series, you're looking at double the price. Now, this is double the price with a B18 or B20, right? Everybody loves to talk about the cheapness of prices of swaps, but everybody always goes to the cheapest version, which is why I get aggravated with with people biased towards this K series, because everybody likes to talk about how B series is cheaper than K, but everybody uses the shittiest version of the B series. But if you use the shittiest version of the K series to go off of, people get upset and say that's not viable. So it's a little stupid, right? How can you sit here and tell me that a B18 is a viable swap for a B series, which isn't, and a B20 is barely, but then you talk about a fucking K28-3 that will beat a B series or the B20 or the B18 and say it's not viable. It's a better swap, right? So there's that. Anyway, so yes, the price is going to be more expensive than a fucking single cam. Yes, the price is going to be more expensive than a B series, but the whole point is it's not excessively expensive like it used to be. It's not excessively more than the fucking cost of the B series. The B series is twice the price. Now, using the base cheapest B series is twice the price as the best single cam swap you can get, right? But the fucking performance is much better. The potential is much better. Single cam stock turbo, 200 horsepower if you want it to last. B series stock turbo, 350 horsepower if you want it to last. K series stock turbo, 500 horsepower if you want it to last. So you see the trend here, right? All right, so this is I guess I'm getting a little bit off topic here, and it's going a little longer than I wanted to. I just wanted to say, wanted to give a shout out to this kit. I don't expect you guys to start buying this like crazy, but I did come to the realization that it's tax season and people are looking to spend money on parts. So if you do want to buy this right now, I can get this together. The only problem is it's going to be a week or two, because you got to remember, to be 100% honest, I got to wait to get everything first. Once I get everything in hand, then I can start sending it out, right? But the last thing is if this works, and I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to start selling. I think that maybe if I start doing a couple of K swaps, then people are going to continue to ask what I'm using, and then maybe at that point it'll take off. But in the future, I would like to be able to have the budget kit and your name brand kit. You want your starter versus your Jordans, right? Now, I think that both are going to work the same, but there are people who are part snobbish and or they're just worried about using the real shit. So you can get another version of that, but I can tell you right now that real version of this kit will cost twice as much money. It's probably around $1,600, because I'm literally the right off rip, the engine mounts alone are half the price of Hasport, if not a little. I think a little less than half the price. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I definitely want to be able to itemize this. I will itemize this kit if you want. I'll get the parts individually or in little bundles of 2 or 3. And then so that's all the things to talk about if you guys are interested in that. But like I said before, please don't come asking for details on things unless you're ready to buy, because it's going to leave a very nasty taste in my mouth. And I don't delete messages, so I remember who the fuck you are if you come back and bother me again. Alright guys, so all my social media links are in the description below. If you want a further discount on this fucking kit, you can sign up to be a patron on Patreon, and all my patrons get a 10% fucking discount. So I guess you could actually wind up getting this fucking kit at cost for me, or maybe even less if you want. Just let me know. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and peace.